Hello and welcome to Talking Good Game. It's just finished. Newcastle 0, West Ham 3. 3 goals and 3 points for the Hammers. Gonzo, Newcastle fans staged a protest on an 11th minute walk-in. Well, while they walked in, they'd just seen the ball hit the back of the net. Hernandez scoring, but I have to say, what a cross. That cross on Snodgrass puts on a plate. Probably the best assist we'll have seen this season from one of our players. 1-0 West Ham.
Yeah, wonderful cross. And we spoke about Chicharito before the game. He's a poacher, what an absolute poacher's finish. What I really liked about that goal, aside from the cross and the finish, was that just before that, Declan Rice had won a really good tackle in midfield, and he'd sort of strode forward, and just he was about to play the killer ball. I think it might have even been to Hernandez, the Newcastle defender, possibly Shah, intercepted it, and Newcastle were on the counter-attack. And then Balbuena did the most wonderful interception and tackle. It was one of the ones where he didn't move, and he came away with a ball under control, and that was the springboard for that attack, which was a great start. And I said before the game we needed to get an early goal. I was absolutely delighted when we did.
Hernandez, though, I mean, he scored again. We'll talk about that later. But a big first goal in that game, you could tell, even in hindsight, after the 80 minutes, whoever got that first goal was really going to go on and win the game. But that's what he does, Hernandez, isn't it? You know, it was on a plate, but calm, composed. 20 minutes. He's got his minutes, and now he's got his goal.
Yeah, well, you said he was coming into form yourself, didn't you? But yes, you might say an easy goal, but we've seen Rondon and, funny enough, Hernandez himself and some others miss those opportunities today. You know, that's just sticking out a boot and sort of nudge it in there. You wouldn't even say it was the best contact, but I'm sure I don't know how many goals Hernandez has scored in his career, but I'm sure there's a lot of them in there, you know, where he might not be the sweetest strike, but it's just enough, a nudge, a deflection of the ball, or, you know, hit it with a studs, the underside of the foot rather than the instep or whatever, and it's enough. He's just got that instinct. He finds the space, he gets in there, and he's got enough control to just steer it into the goal.
We went in at half-time 1-0 Gonzo, but the first half as a whole, very end-to-end. I thought it was, do you know, when you get to the last 10 minutes of a game that's 0-0, I thought the whole first half was like that. It was just end-to-end. You have a chance, we have a chance, and I thought both sides were very open and wasteful, if anything. I thought they had a couple of, they were getting their chances in the air, which they weren't taking, but we were getting our chances. I thought our passing to start their counter-attacks were fantastic. We were going forward with numbers, we were looking good, but when it got to the final third, we just could not produce that killer pass, and at times there wasn't even a killer pass that was needed. It was a simple one. There was a clear route from player A to player B, where there was a Natovic cutting back for Hernandez, etc. We just couldn't seem to make it click. But for a neutral, what a half of football that must have been to watch.
Yeah, I don't just think for a neutral, I thoroughly enjoyed that. I've got to say, I have waited for a long time to play 4-4-2 and to go for it, you know, and to have a combination, a big fella, a little fella up front. And yet, you know what, sometimes our passing was a bit sloppy. Our passing, it was. There's no two ways about it. I mean, what you said is absolutely right. When we counter-attacked at pace, it was fine. But actually just general passing, knocking it between each other, we were losing the ball quite a lot. The other thing I really noticed today, and I don't know whether it's the player's responsibility, whether it's the kit man's responsibility, or the manager highlights it, we had a problem just with grip. Literally, if that was a Formula One race, they would have pulled the cars in and changed their tyres. And we had so many times where players just lost their footing just before they were either about to shoot or about to pass. I don't know whose responsibility that is to say, look, fellas, you've got the wrong studs on here. But I thought that was a feature throughout the game. It didn't change at half-time either. But it all added to the drama. And I thought there was so much to admire about the way we attacked and defended.
Yeah, two changes just after half-time, Gonzo, which massively influenced the game, in my opinion. The first one, it was a Newcastle sub. Matt Ritchie went off. Were you surprised at that? Because I thought they looked like scoring from a set piece, if anything, and he takes off the guy that's delivering those set pieces.
Yeah, but I thought Cresswell and Anderson, a combination of two, which unfortunately until Cresswell went off, looked like a real partnership starting to form there. They were really linking and having some sort of, you know, second sense going on. He already had a card, and I think he was really struggling, and then maybe Rafa thought there would be another card coming. I thought it was quite likely.
You mentioned there Cresswell, that's the other sub. He went off injured, but we've had a problem at left back all season. Newcastle, a lot of their attacks were coming down the right, and Cresswell's continuously blocking crosses for corners, etc. He was one of the ones that did put in a cross. I think it was for Hernandez towards the end of the first half. He just couldn't get there, but the cross was superb. But what about Creswell's performance for while he was on the pitch? I mean, I thought he was on his way to being man of match, if you like.
Yeah, but both fullbacks were fantastic. I don't mean Cresswell and Zabaleta. Both fullbacks were really superb today. Actually buzzing just watching that game. It was really, really entertaining stuff. And just the linking, as I say, and you mentioned some blocks just before he went off. He made a wonderful block. I can't remember who it was from, but it was point blank. It was a brave block. It was sort of, get one in the face, or whatever. You just put yourself, just charged the ball down and stood in the way, but defended well, attacked well, and there was some very, very. I don't know how long his injury's going to be or anything like that, but I've not just promising. It was exciting watching him and Anderson link up. Very, very good.
It was Rondon's shot he blocked, which makes it even more important because Rondon wasn't his man. He's seen Rondon peel off the back of Diop, and we seen this. I can't remember who we played. I think it was Brighton actually. Murray peeled away from the centre backs, and Masuaku stood still and just watched him wander into the box and get a tap in. Creswell sees Rondon peel off Diop and thinks, actually, I need to move here. I need to leave my man. He gets in the way. He makes the block, and then we go on. That's the difference between the two of them. There was a good a block it was. It was the second best block from our fullback today because Zabaleta just before half time, I think that was from Rondon as well, actually. I'm going to miss him at right back. It scares me, but we'll talk about him in a cup of tea about this rotation thing. 63 minutes still Gonzo at half time. Every West Ham fan would have been thinking it's not finishing 1-0. We need a second goal. We got it. Hernandez again. It was a bit up in the air, kick from Fabianski, got headed, Rice booted it. Hernandez, lovely little flick on from Hernandez. Hernandez 1-on-1. You could argue the safer option would be to try it and cut across the goal for, I think it was Anderson at the back post, but he doesn't. He takes himself, finishes it well.
I love those goals. They are beautiful, beautiful goals. That's what I think we thought we were getting, that goal when we brought Hernandez in and we were hoping Andy Carroll was going to stay fit. There's nothing wrong with that. We play slick passing. We were playing 1-2s. We were dribbling. We were playing lots of football on the deck. But there's nothing wrong with doing that. And that was a big man, little man partnership. I loved that. And he flicked it through and he took it on. How many times over, the recent years, particularly for those of us that sort of, enjoyed McAvenny and Cotti, not they were big man, little man particularly, but, Hartson and Kitson when they came in, and people that like strike partnerships. So how many times over the years have we seen almost Andy Carroll flicking it onto nobody? There's nobody there. That was wonderful. That's what we wanted. That's what we wanted to see from Hernandez. Arnie was not great. I made a joke. I thought he'd swapped sort of footballing abilities with Antonio today, and he was struggling. But I don't know how much of that was fitness or the studs. But he grew into the game. Actually, got better and better and better, and obviously he went off. But when you're playing football, there's nothing wrong with mixing it up a little bit like that. It might be a bit Route 1, but in many respects, they are also beautiful goals. I was thrilled to see that goal, actually.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I mean, it's important that you don't only score one way. It's all right for Man City only scoring by passing into the back of the net because they're good enough. Then when you're a team like West Ham, you need to have that in your locker. You need to be able to switch up. So if we are struggling, this is a game we could easily have been struggling to break Newcastle down, etc. You need to be able to have the ability to go a bit long at times, etc. A bit more direct, change up, give their centre back something to think about. And if you can win it in the air and get chances, and play it along the deck and get chances, you're going to do well. And we've done that today. We've demonstrated that we can actually do both. There was a lot of bits and pieces on the go, but Gonzo we topped off in the very last minute there. Good play by Wiltshire. Founds Anderson, shrugs off his man completely. He missed a decent chance earlier on. It's good to see him actually, because I think a couple of months ago, if he'd missed that chance earlier, he probably wouldn't have shot later on in the game. He would have tried to pass the buck a little bit, but it was good to see him today. Actually, he missed that chance. Good save by the keeper. In the 90th minute, he thought, right, I'm going to try again. I'm actually going to try and get my goal again, and he got it. I thought he was fantastic today, Anderson.
It was absolutely brilliant, wasn't he? And I thought for that particular bit that you mentioned, where he sort of brushed Shah off, he seems to have added that to his game, and I saw it today time and time and time again. He seems to have worked out that actually you've almost got to win a bit of a physical battle before you or before or after you've done your trick and you go on your sprint. And today he just didn't care. He was cutting inside, he was going wide. There was one point he dribbled past 3 different players and then cut inside. He did 2 absolutely tremendous passes. Another one, the other brilliant pass of the match was from Chicharito to Arnie. All round, he was brilliant, and he deserved a goal today to cap off what was really an absolutely sublime performance. But I was very critical of him at the start because I said he kept on trying the same trick over and over and over, and it wasn't working. Well, I tell you what, it's working now, and he's just adjusted it slightly. He seems to just, right before he goes on his race, he seems to turn it into, because he's got a very low center of gravity, he does it almost like a pirouette. He turns away, uses a bit of skill, and then goes, and his balance is far better than the defender. And by the time he goes, he's starting to change the pace of the game as well. Slow it down, speed it up. I'm very impressed with him today.
His pass for Hernandez, put him 1-on-1. He should have done better, Hernandez, in all fairness. But that pass, that vision is what has always been there. He's just not always had the confidence to do it, etc. And I still think I'd say Lanzini's got the vision, but I think he has got a level above everyone else in our squad in terms of seeing the pass, seeing the opportunity, seeing what a player's trying to do. And if Hernandez has got someone behind him that can, because Hernandez does do these runs, but the problem is we've never been good enough to give him the ball. No one's been good enough to read his run and play it through to him, etc. And that's why often Hernandez gets caught offside, etc. Because he's about a yard behind defence before one of our midfielders go, oh, I see what he's trying to do here. But he's now finally got Anderson, who actually can read exactly. As soon as Hernandez drops his shoulder, Anderson can see exactly where Hernandez is. That pass was beautiful. That little flick, and it deserved a goal. That kind of football deserves a goal, unfortunately. But Gonzo, full time, 3-0, 3 points. A deserved win.
Oh, it really was. And there were times when Newcastle attacked us, but the commentator, obviously, he kept on calling Kevin Noble. He kept on mentioning Kevin Noble. I don't know if you had the same commentary as me. But the commentator said we just had more of a cutting edge of Newcastle, and we really, really did. We just looked exciting when we went forward, and we won because we had better forwards and we had better defenders today. You know, because that back five, because Fabianski had stuff to do today as well. They were very, very good, and I thought, bearing in mind he played a 2 in midfield, I thought the midfield 2 linked it pretty damn well as well. So, yeah, I mean, it was a thoroughly deserved victory. Was it 3-0 in terms of the chances that Newcastle created? And probably not. But if you look at the chances we missed, I'm thinking 2 big ones from Chicharito, 2 big ones from Arnautovic, and another one which Anderson might have scored. I mean, that game, if everyone takes their chances, that game today could have been 6 or 7-4 to West Ham. And I think that's a reflection of how entertaining the game was. It was a brilliant game of football to watch, and I've absolutely missed that. And you know, we talk about David Moyes. You know, I don't want to keep beating him with the same stick, but you don't get that sort of football and that sort of entertaining game. I mean, we're set up for the rest of the weekend now, aren't we? Because that's, as a West Ham fan, that's great to watch. And the thing is, the fans, because some of them will be listening to this on their whatever their devices or whatever, on the train on the way home, to go all that way and then to come away with that freedom. They're going to be singing on the train, enjoying a beer on the train, and the journey's just that little bit shorter. Do you know what I mean? Back home, it's a really important win for West Ham, and for the feel-good factor as well as the points.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to sound negative. It kind of is negative as well, but I do think we were wasteful today. I think we, against a better side, I think we would have maybe got our bum smacked a little bit. If you waste that much chances, you could be in trouble. But the swings and roundabouts, because it means we're creating that much chances. Like you said, we could have had 7 today. That means we've created 7 goal-scoring opportunities, which is fantastic. And I also do think we're lucky that Newcastle didn't take any of their chances. But you know, I'm not going to complain, because we've always sat here saying we want entertaining football. We want to see, we're willing to risk conceding a goal or 2 in order to go and try and score 4 or 5. And this is what was good about Pellegrini at half time. If we were still, I know I don't want to go on about Moyes either, but if we had Moyes in charge right now at half time, he would have done a sub and done something to more defensive. He would not have come out with Arnautovic and Hernandez up front, for example. He would have thought, no, 1-0, I'm retreating a bit here. Pellegrini kept it the same. Pellegrini thought, right, we need the second goal. We need to kill this. As soon as we got it, he let it go a little bit longer. Arnautovic was clearly struggling to an extent, but then Is he? Because I seen him sprint about 50 yards and make a tackle and then a return ball. So, like, he's not that injured. He seems to be injured when it suits him, which is a bit, I'm not saying he's faking it, but it does seem a bit funny because in the start of the game, he missed a chance and then he's kneeling over, etc. But then he does this run and makes that tackle. But, you know, I thought he was a bit wasteful today, but I don't think there was any lack of effort from him. But overall, this is why I like Pellegrini. He went for the goals. He got the second one. Then he made the change. Thought, now I'm going to tighten up a bit now. We've got the 2-0 lead. But even when we had the 2-0 lead, this is when we can turn on our counter-attack and power S, which we've not seen really since Bilic at Upton Park. We've never really had this counter-attacking threat. We've got it now in abundance. And if we can keep starting to take the lead in games, we're going to become more and more dangerous. Because you say that about Liverpool and City. I'm not saying we have the caliber of those squads, but if they score first and you attack them, they're only you just open yourself up and they just come at you and get more and more goals. And that's what we're going to do under Pellegrini, I think. Individual performances, though, there's quite a lot of them to pick out, I think, Gonzo. Hence why I tried to mention Anderson and Creswell already.
Yeah, sorry, just to finish up on that, when you were talking about Moyes, and we both said we don't want to dig out Moyes, we both have done. I'm going to just do it one more time. I can't remember what game it was. It was a game we sat here last season and we hadn't had a shot on goal. And we were quite miserable about it, and that, just for that, I'm really sort of buying into this revolution, if you like, and I'm very, very excited to see what's going to happen when he gets a few more of his players in there, because this is what I want to see, and that's why I didn't complain when we lost, you know, in a couple of games. No, this is great, you know. I don't know how many shots, not seeing the stats. We had lots and lots of shots, brilliant. Individual performances. Wow, what'd you do? Where'd you start? Balbuena and Diop again. What a partnership they're creating. As you know, Zabaleta we've mentioned, Cresswell, and that's just a defence. You know, absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
I could go on, but you should say some as well. You know.
I think today was Hernandez's best game in the West Ham shirt. Not only for his 2 goals, but I thought he was making runs constantly throughout the game. I thought his passing was fantastic. There was one in the second half and that which somehow he didn't get it. It was right at his feet. He was through on goal. He somehow didn't get the ball. That pass deserved to put Hernandez in one-on-one. And it's just unfortunate that when people go to watch Match of the Day or highlights, etc., they will not see that pass from Hernandez because it won't get picked up because because Hernandez has missed the ball. You're not going to see it again. So people will miss out on what Hernandez has done today. And I thought he was absolutely brilliant. The centre-backs, again, really, really good. Despite us conceding a couple of chances, I thought they were superb. I think our centre midfield was quite quiet today, actually. I thought Noble and Rice, I don't think either of them were, I'm not saying they were awful, but neither of them had a great game. I thought Rice gave the ball away a couple of times cheaply. The one you spoke about, whoever was running away from him seemed to be about 3 yards away. Then suddenly it was 15 yards. And I was thinking, this is a bit weird. Rice just seemed to either he was really slow or he just seemed to give up a bit. It was a bit concerning. Masuaku didn't look great when he come on. There's a big difference between him and Creswell defensively, though. We know Wiltshire didn't get much time on the pitch, but he still got an assist to his name, and this is what we want to see. Thought Manatovic had a quiet-ish game. I thought he was a bit wasteful, but overall, we were fantastic today. That's the football I want to see on the deck. Nice passing football. It takes the pressure off us a little bit, I think. We didn't win today. I think they're doing a lot of pressure on us against Cardiff on Tuesday. I think this win is hopefully going to give us the momentum. Gonzo, is there any final words from yourself on today's performance or players?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we get to, we're going to say man of the match, so we saved the, thing that. Fair play to Snodgrass today. Neither of us have really mentioned, apart from the assist. Just battles well, doesn't he? Just did really, really well. I think with the midfield, I think because the nature of the game, because it was almost counter-attacking game from both teams, almost the midfield gets bypassed. So much of it was going down the flanks, going from fullback to winger so many times. And almost the only time the midfield were called upon was when they were having to tackle to regain possession, which would then spring another counter-attack. So I just think the game itself and the tactics of both managers probably bypassed the midfield. I am so impressed, and Diop is going to take a lot of the plaudits today because he was so good. I'm just so impressed with Balbuena as well. I mean, he has got that timing, that interception. He reads the game well, and I just thought so many of the players at the moment that Pellegrini has purchased are looking, pretty good, and he's getting a tune out of some of the other ones, and I'm actually excited for what the future could could hold. And I don't mean we're going to start being Paris Saint-Germain or anything like that. But we've gone for a period of being quite unlucky with injuries, and now the squad's starting to come back together. I think the fact that Andy Carroll didn't come on was quite telling. And looking at how we played, apart from the goal that we mentioned, where Arnautovic flicked it on, is there really room in the way we're playing for that fast counter-attacking? But the way Andy Carroll plays, I would say not in the way that we sort of applied ourselves today. But I tell you what, it's exciting when we are counter-attacking really, really quickly, and we've got, he kept 3 men up there, and when we've got 3-on-2s and stuff like that, it's brilliant. A really entertaining game of football.
Yeah, I have to agree. The Carroll thing is good, though, because this is 2 games now Carroll's been on the bench. The first one, the game was finished. It was 3-0 at half-time. So Pellegrini's obviously went, well, there's no point putting my injury-prone striker on the pitch now. What's the point? Even if we get one back, it doesn't matter. Let's just protect him, if you like. So today, we're 2-0 up. It's not a game for a target man up front for West Ham. It was counter-attacking football. The previous managers we've had here, we'd have probably put Carroll on just because it's Andy Carroll. They'd went, on you go, son. You know, you're back from injury, on you go.
Defend some corners.
Yeah, so Pellegrini's just finally going, actually, we're winning. The game's not for you. You're injury prone. Sit this one out. You wait. It's almost like he's keeping him until the game's made for target man, or we're struggling. Then we'll bring on the injury prone guy that can be effective. And this is how we can maybe see the best of Andy Carroll eventually. Is someone who's not relying on him, someone that he's there to use, but if he's not there, we still go on, and our game plan doesn't get a lighter set fire to it. Because under previous managers, that's what's happened. No Carroll, we'll just burn plans because we don't know what we're going to do. We've now got one. We were superb today. I can't give the players enough plaudits. We were fantastic. Gonzo, it's probably the hardest question, actually. I think you're going to pick one of the centre-backs, and I think I'm going to pick one of the centre-backs as well. So it's going to be interesting to see if you pick the same one or a different one. How 3 goals, though, and we're both picking a centre-back for man of match.
Well, no, you've been presumptuous there, actually. You've been a bit presumptuous. I'm not, and that is not to deflect. I thought they were brilliant, and I loved watching both of them. But I have got to give man of the match to Anderson today, who I just thought lit up the stadium, was the most skillful player on the park, used pace, he had energy, and he kept on tracking back. There was one point he lost the ball today, and he sprinted back and then won it back. He seems to have attitude, and this is coming from someone who was a little bit reluctant. Wasn't sure it was going to work out. If you look at some of our I'm quick enough to tell you what I've said right. I'll tell you what, I go and look back at what I've said wrong as well. And I was just so impressed with his endeavour, with his attacking. They were scared of him. They were really, really scared of him, and he looks like a really, really good player. I cannot wait to the next game to see Anderson some more. And this is a game when Chicharito scored 2 goals and was fantastic, and so many other players. But I've got to give it to Anderson today.
I thought Anderson and Hernandez were fantastic. But my man of match, Diop, I thought he was just different class again. Everything he does, every game you just watch him, he just gets better and better and better. And every game he plays, he adds 3 million to his value. And it doesn't sound much, but when you play 10 games, you're adding 30 million, aren't you? So every single game he plays, his value just keeps going up and up and up and up. I'll tell you what, our director of football, who's the loss, must be sitting there laughing his arse off, thinking I'd pay 20 million for this guy. We sell him tomorrow, I'm going to have 50 million or something to go out and buy players. And well, we don't want to see Diop leave. As a director of football, your priority is to bring players in, throw value on them, and offload them at the optimum price, if you like, and then reinvest, etc. That's his job. And he's looking at that team, the players he's investing. Even Anderson's now starting to look like a £40 million player. So he's probably thinking, well, my job's done. Give me some money. This just strengthens Pellegrini's case to get extra funds in January. Do we have any? Probably not. But if his signings are playing this well, Balbuena, Diop, Anderson, if they're impacting our season so much, which they are, Fabianski, how can Sullivan not dig deep and give him the money? Because if you want to take a good season and make it a fantastic season, or you want to take an average season and make it a good season, that's how to do it. And the pair of them, Pellegrini and Huselos, right now, performances like that are turning around to the board virtually and saying, our signings are doing it. You need to back us. We have a gap at left back. We have a gap in centre midfield. You want to plug it, you need to give us the money. But we'll cover that in a cup of tea, Gonzo. But my man is Diop, yours is Anderson. Happy Hammers today, 3 goals and 3 points up at St James's Park, which has been a bit of a bogey team for West Ham in recent times. But we are entering our lesser run of fixtures, if you like. Coming up next is Cardiff at home on Tuesday. So we will be having our preview probably tomorrow night, Sunday night. We'll be having to look ahead to that one. Don't think we'll be predicting much changes starting line though. But leave your comments below. Let us know who you think was man of the match, what you thought of the game, etc. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like on it. If you're new around here, hit the subscribe button, and you'll see me, Gonzo, and a guest tomorrow night discussing the Cardiff game. See you soon.